are ready to make in how things are looked at. We aim for these sessions to be a platform where teenagers come together and discuss issues that influence us as a generation and as people.
Through this platform, we wish to motivate our contemporaries to come together and be involved in matters that will influence others to understand the problems we face around the world, some of which exist even without our knowledge. Now here is our core team to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Mika, short for Mikhail, a 17-year-old who loves movies and anything that runs with an engine.
Hey, I'm Edna, a 16-year-old who loves reading and music.
Hi, I'm Zara, a 15-year-old who loves beats and debating about anything that requires change.
Hey, I'm Manya Iki, a 13-year-old who wants to make the world a better place.
Hi, I'm Mia, an 18-year-old and someone who enjoys outdoor activities a lot and loves making resin and clay miniatures.
Hey, I'm Jacob, a 16-year-old who loves to play sports.
Hi, I'm Athena. I am a 16-year-old who loves music and singing.
Hello, I'm Deborah, a 16-year-old who adores curling up with a good book or debating over any topic under the sun.
Our speaker for the day is Mr. Odalo. Odalo is the executive director and founder of Slum Foundation, based in Nairobi, Kenya. He has extensive experience in social work and working with and on protection of slum child and youth. Growing up himself as a slum or street child in Nairobi, he is dedicated to helping children in similar situations and sees their potential. Odalo represents the voice of vulnerable children in global drug policy debate.
Furthermore, Odalo was one of the invited speakers at the civil society hearing in the presentation of the United Nations General Assembly Special Session for the World Drug Problem 2016. He has been invited as a speaker in various forums around the world, and he has shared the best practices of what they do with young people in Kenya. He has also participated in various commissions on narcotic drugs, including the ministerial segment on the World Drug Problem in 2019.
He was the convener of the Africa Civil Society Common Position on Drugs, a consensus document developed by civil society organizations, CSOs, from around Africa, signed by nearly 100 African CSOs, building up on the international and regional commitment on drug control. The document was launched on the sidelines of the 2020 Commission on Narcotics Drugs and is looking forward to presenting it to African Union member states during their Specialized Technical Committee on Health and Drug Control later this year. Over to you, George.
Good. Myself, and thank you very much, everyone, for the nice and wonderful introduction. I can't remember who had said there was Amala, Mika, and I didn't really get to know who was saying what where. But that is nice. Thank you for the nice and wonderful introduction that you guys have done or have said about me. And I will try to share my best experiences with everyone to see how we can help. I don't know if I can share my screen. So there is host disabled. Okay.
No, it's enabled, Josh. You can try.
I don't know if I can share now.
Try again, George. Try again.
I got it. Good. So I wanted to touch a little bit about this This was a small presentation I made to the UNODC a few years ago, and it cuts across more or less the same with what you're talking about. So I know the first question is about, tell me about yourself, or tell me, or George, who is George? And I normally love to share my story in this brief format. So if you have time, you can read through. There was this boy who was born in a family of 5 children, which is more or less the same with India. I mean, we have families whereby an average number of people is 5, 7, and we've had a case of even 12 people coming from 12 children from one family. Then at the age of 12, my parents divorced. At the age of 12, again, life forced me to the street where I used to eat from the garbage. In one of the largest dumping sites around. It's actually the largest one in East and Central Africa. And so it was not an easy thing. I lost hope with life completely. I mean, at that point I lost hope, but at some point I regained hope, and I said, I have to change the perception and the thinking of my people by being a good role model. So I got a good Samaritan, reintegrated me back to school. So once I was done with my education, I was enrolled as a volunteer in a community project as a peer educator, assistant peer educator. And in most cases, you realize that young people, we normally don't want to volunteer. They want ready-made. I'm coming to fourth wave, they have to pay me, they have to do this, but you don't really realize that these guys are giving you the experience. You need to humble yourself. So my first assignment after high school was to volunteer in one of the community projects. The project was dealing with HIV parents and children. So I was there, gave my best, and I got a job opening with them. Then at some point, I think 3 years down the line, after I was done with my high school, I started my organization to address the challenges that project was not addressing. Then slowly by slowly, I got an opportunity to work with the local people. And the way I was working, I was not looking at, I didn't have in my mind that even one day I would travel. So I was doing to bring a change based on what I've gone through, eating from the garbage, being abused, being tortured, being a victim of violence. So I worked it that way. And then at some point in 2012, I got an opportunity with World Federation Against Drugs. I know you've heard of Diana talking about World Federation Against Drug every now and then. I normally give a lot of credit to that organization because they were the first one to invite me to travel abroad. By then, I had not even boarded a plane. I didn't know even how a plane looks inside. And to make the matters worse, I normally love sharing this with many people. I requested a ban, and whenever we also watch football around, we normally see with the Castle Lager. So I didn't know Castle Lager is a beer. So the funny thing is that I requested for a ban, and I told the guy, why don't you give me the Castle Lager? Because I knew Castle Lager is a soft drink because I normally see it on TV. The moment I took it, I was like, this is something different, not what I expected. And then by my side was a lady, this side a lady, and they started laughing. But I was kind of trying to hold myself so that they don't see me as a very, as an old-fashioned guy who comes from the rural sides of the world, who does not know anything. So I kept on like that, and I went well, I came back well, I kept on doing. A lot of people challenged me, you went abroad and you're coming back, why would you not stay there? I told them, no, the mission and the agenda that I have for my people is far much more than hiding myself and finding myself in Europe. So I came back, kept on doing what I was doing. I organized forums for young people, like the forum that Fourth Wave I've organized. Mine was physical. By then there was no COVID. I kept on doing like that, and through that my organization started growing. And at some point in 2014, I also got an opportunity. I went to Sweden again with World Federation Against Drugs. 2015, I went to Austria for my first Commission on Narcotic Drugs session was in 2015. Then in 2016, I was invited by the UN now to speak at the General Assembly during the Civil Society Consultation Forum. And it has been all like that. And at some point, we were able to meet with Diana. And there was that change. The change and the connection. And we, Diana, I remember one thing she told me, George, we will have to work together. You will hold my hand and I will hold your hand. And whenever she gives me a call that, George, I want you to come in, I normally don't hesitate. I have been in a number of, I have been struggling a lot to ensure that with the little resources, I also advance academic-wise. So at the moment, I'm just a diploma holder in social work, and I was planning to do a degree in 2019. I enrolled, and then I was told I will start in 2020. Then COVID came, and everything went standstill. So that is a little bit about myself. And if you look at that picture, if you look at that arrow, that was George during my heydays when I was a street boy, where street life was a normal thing. I mean, it was my day-to-day. I would eat, sleep, breathe, everything was street life. And at times I normally say I look like a street boy, but the street boy in me is somehow gone. I don't feel afraid. But what really surprises a lot of people is that the next slide will make you know that you can come from nothing to something so long as you are determined and you have a positive perception. So that is now George. The first photo is myself, my wife, and my two lovely kids, my son and my daughter. The picture above is when I was at the UN General Assembly. The other one down there is when I was having regional representative for UNODC during the launch of World Drug Problem, together with the senator for Nairobi County. The other one with the white lady, that is the Queen of Sweden, and that was the second time we were meeting. Actually, the first time we met in Sweden in 2012, then this was in 2016 when we met. So you see the difference. You can become nothing, but so long as you have the positive attitude, positive perception, you are able to make a change and a difference in your life. Then, I don't know, okay. I think I'm getting it right. So I now need to talk about my organization. And so my organization is called Slum Child Foundation. We are a registered NGO, and we have a special ECOSOC status with the United Nations. The ECOSOC status gives us an opportunity whereby when there is any General Assembly anywhere in the world organized by the UN, we are able to present an oral statement. I can request to say something, and I am given that chance. I can request to write something or contribute to a debate, and it can be considered. So I started the organization in 2008, 2006, but I registered it in 2008. And we applied to become an NGO in 2015, but it has been full of ups and downs. The government system, the way it works, it's very, very difficult and different. So I work with children, women, and youth in the informal settlement of 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗺 in Nairobi, Kenya. And the reason as why I work with the children is that I went through a lot as a young person, and I didn't want to see, or I would not want to see other children going the same direction as to where I went through, or what I went through when I was growing up. The reason as to why I also work with women, I realized that women go through a lot. When my parents divorced, I went with my mom, and my mom didn't leave us. She really fought very hard to ensure that we eat, we sleep, we drink, we go to school, and all these other challenges. So I wouldn't want to see any woman or any girl going through a lot of challenges. At times, I give priority also to young girls, because at times I've seen it by myself. Young girls exchanging sex with sanitary towels. I know it's something that is also common in India. There is nothing much, there's no big difference between what is happening in 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶 slums, which is the third largest slum in Kenya, and maybe some of the slums in India. One of my greatest role models that has really inspired me to work and do this when I was growing up was Mother Teresa. And the funny thing is that we happen to share our birthday. She was born on 26th of August, and that is the same time that I was also born. So you get the connection. But what has really pushed me to keep on doing this is my good friend and my mentor. I call him my big father, my big brother. Is my friend from Uganda. He runs an organization called Uganda Youth Development Link. And my sister, Diana Joseph, who keeps on telling me, George, we can do it. You can help me, I can help you. So we address issues related to poverty eradication, health promotion practice, education, life skill, microfinance, and substance use prevention. That is why we call ourselves prevention experts, not treatment experts. What we do, we have a number of programs: the children program, the scholarship, school outreach, street children, table banking, psychosocial lobby, referral, and referral of drug addicts for treatment services. If we are not able to treat, the best option would be to refer them. So what we've achieved is that so far as an individual or as an organization, I was the winner of the Drug-Free Foundation of America, 𝗬𝗂𝗺 2018 award. I was the first African to win this. And this year, I realized that there were a number of people who awarded this, but it has never come back to Africa. So I don't know. And by that time, when they were awarding me, I was the 7th person to be awarded. It has been given to senators, governors in the US and different parts of the world. But you see, I don't know. I've been a speaker in various sessions. I've been a speaker at ISAP. I've been a speaker at the UN General Assembly. I've been a speaker at the 6th WFAD conference, a speaker at the NOVA conference in Spain, attended another conference in Thailand. I was a speaker at the launch of the 2018 World Drug Report at the UN offices here. I've represented the voices of the vulnerable communities at a number of debates, and I've supported support to children, women, and youth from the slums of 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶. So whenever I walk in 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶, be it day or night, there's nothing that can happen to me because it is my hometown, and the people that I work with are people who know me. I don't know if this is important, but I'll just come down to, I'll just pass through this. Every kingdom has a foundation to become strong. And so if you don't, as a young person, if you don't plan yourself well, this world might end up disappointing you. And I love telling people that good plan involves proper situation analysis of yourself, because if you don't do self-analysis and if you don't plan well, there is nothing that you'll achieve in life. Wherever or each and every step that I've made in life has been, I take a bit of my time to analyze myself, to know who I am and where I want to go and how I want to do it. So with that, it becomes easier. Then I do the SWOT analysis. I have to know my strength. As a young person, you need to know what is your strength. What are you good at? You need to know your weaknesses, the challenges that you might face in life. What are the opportunities around and what are the threats? And if you combine this, brings me to what I love telling a lot of people is that, tell me your friend and I'll know who you are. Because if you have good friends, probability of you being a good friend, it's very high. And if you have a practical example, if you have, I normally tell people, if you have 9 millionaires, probability of you being the 10th millionaire is very high. But if you hang around with the 10 thieves or 10 robbers, probability of you becoming the 10th one, chances are very high. You cannot tell me you hang around with robbers or criminals and you become a millionaire. It can't happen. So you have to do self-analysis, take your time, meditate, dedicate even a time. You don't need a big space, but just a small time. Maybe when you wake up in the morning or when you go to sleep in the evening, just take 10 minutes, 20 minutes to analyze yourself and ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? My approach in life has been based on commitment. And but before I get to commitment, there is the 5 P's that I really love to talk about. It says proper planning prevents poor performance. So if you don't plan properly, you'll never achieve anything. So if you don't follow the approaches of the 5 P's, proper planning prevents poor performance, you will never ever be able to do even a SWOT analysis about yourself. And my approach has been fully committed on, fully based on my commitment to myself. You cannot commit to someone else if you cannot commit to yourself. You cannot be honest to someone else if you're not honest to yourself. You cannot work hard. You cannot work for other people if you cannot work for yourself. At times, there are times that my children normally tell me, Dad, what time are you going to sleep? At times you work day in, day out, but because you have something that you want to achieve, you have to do it. Determination, passion, network, knowing who is doing what where, having your ears on the ground, having courage, being open-minded, having teamwork. With my team here, with that, I'm just a social person. You interact with everyone so that you are able to get what you want in life. But again, about being a social person, people might take advantage of you. So as a young person, you need to be very careful of who you are socializing with. There are people who might want to bring you down, but they will not tell you they want to bring you down, to socialize with you and end up bringing you down because they have bitterness in their heart. They've seen you grow, but they don't want to say that I'm happy for the progress that you're making, but they will just say the best way to win this person is to be next to him and bring him down. I don't think if this is really important. I think I'll just focus on this: stand, speak, and act. This is a very, very important point for each and every other person. If we do not stand up as young people and speak for ourselves, there is no one who will remember your story. Age will just remain but a number. Every other single person has a story to tell. That disabled person has a story to tell. That rich person has a story to tell. That beggar has a story to tell. That poor girl who cannot afford sanitary. Every single person has a story to tell. But if you do not stand out, speak out, no one will tell your story. It does not matter whether you are young or old, everyone has a story. Remember the story of Malala. We do not need everything to start, but just small resources. For us as an organization, when I started with a small thing. I actually started running the organization in my house. By that time, I was living in a single room. There is no kitchen, everything is just in a single room. And I started by buying a computer and later a printer, and I would buy a pen, and it kept on growing. Then I moved into a 1-bedroom house. I moved in my office into the bedroom. Then slowly I brought it to where it is right now. So having big ideas is good, but acknowledge the little effort that you put in place and also start small. Put your ideas on paper, be self-driven, be realistic. Being realistic, this is where a lot of young people fail in life because you're not realistic to what you want to do. You want to become a Bill Gates, but you do not want to work like Bill Gates. So you have to start small. Is it selling in India, I don't know how we call it, but in Kenya we have the mandazis or chapatis. I don't know how to call it, but the food stuff that people sell by the roadside. So you have to start somewhere so that you are able able to strategize yourself and put yourself in the right way, then you have to utilize the 5 P's. Know your space, accept yourself, because a lot of people have a lot of grievances, bitterness in their heart. So and so has progressed, so and so has progressed. I'm the only one who is not making it in life. You can make it in life provided you are determined. And in most cases, I normally tell people normally ask me, you came from the slum? And I tell them, I came from the slum and I'm going back to the slum to keep on doing what I was a street boy. I accepted that and I'm here and I'm still going to work hard. We need to move from blame game to action. You don't need a godfather to excel in whatever you're doing if you're positive about what you want to do in life. Opportunities are made and never knock once if you work for them strategically, because people have that assumption that opportunity only comes once. If it comes once, I would have gone to Sweden in 2012 and that was it. But I kept on working, being strategic about what you want with these opportunities. I think that is it from my end, and that is all I can share for now. I don't know if I have missed anything from the questions that the good, lovely team gave me. Maybe I can talk about why should teams be socially aware about
Judging
what they want in life. If you want,
Judging. They have actually a set of questions as well. So if it connects to what you want to say, they'll be able to ask you the question. But this is good for us to know you.
Okay.
So they're all excited to ask the questions to you.
It's fine.
Yeah, they're all waiting to ask questions to you. So. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
I've shared
George.
about myself. Now you can now proceed. Yes.
Thank you so much, George. It has been wonderful that you've been so open today about your life. It matters to us and it matters a lot to us, and it opens a new world that we have no idea about. The team has prepared a few questions and we would like you to address them.
Thank you, Manya. So during the PPT that you were presenting, you told us about how we should stand up for what we believe in and we should talk about it. So my question was that, especially for our ages as teenagers, we always get criticized for the questions we ask and for how much we question. So my question was that, how do we teenagers talk for what we believe in and not let the criticism affect us?
So do you want me to respond to that or collect the questions?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You can respond to each question.
I don't know. You want me to respond to each question?
Yes, you can.
Good. I will answer this by saying that I think this. At times, even if you stand alone for something that is right, stand for it and go for it. A lot of young people feel intimidated. A lot of people feel discouraged because they stand for something, but because of the fear, they are not able to achieve it. Let me tell you a good experience of what I stand for. The issue of legalization of marijuana in Kenya has been a big debate. The issue of drugs and the drug cartels in Kenya is a big debate. And whenever as a young person you stand out and talk about it, people will come and tell you there is nothing you're telling us. So it has been a debate that at times I end up being the only person that can challenge the people who want to legalize and take the bold step. So I would say that as young people, if you stand for something, do your own search. If you're satisfied with it, stand for it. Even if you stand alone, stand for it and go for it. There are people who will definitely come behind you. Is that right?
Yes, I'm sure we can all learn from you.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for that answer. During your
Mhm.
speech, your presentation, you talked about being the first African to win an award that was previously given mostly to US citizens. And I was wondering if you feel comfortable with sharing, can you share a story about an issue that you're particularly proud of making advancements in? Like, yeah.
I missed you at some point.
Okay, sorry, I'll
You
repeat.
don't mind come up again?
Yeah, I can repeat. So I was wondering, would you feel comfortable with sharing a story about an issue that you're particularly proud of making an advancement in, especially since you're voyaging out into something that's so.
There was a breakup somewhere. I don't know why. I only got you up to, would you mind sharing? Then it broke up. I don't know.
George, can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Better.
So, Deborah is asking if you could share of one particular achievement of yours that you're very proud about, that you've changed someone's life with, or some issue.
Okay.
So yeah.
So my greatest achievement that I feel very much proud of is not about the awards. It's not about the good family. It's not about the international conference that I've gone to. It is about the impact that I'm able to leave into the lives of the many suffering children in the slums of 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶. That I have touched a number of lives. There was a case I had of a boy who was, I've had cases of young people who are into addiction, into a lot of stuff. But one that really touched me was the case of a young boy who was radicalized, and he was recruited to join Al-Shabaab, and he was on his way to Somalia. He came to my office, we started the conversation. The moment the boy opened up, I didn't know that he was already recruited, and the moment he opened up, I really tensed, and I was like, now today I'm going to be bombed in my house, in my office. But I gained courage. I started engaging the young man, and by the time we are coming to the end of our conversation, after 2 hours, the boy told me, George, as much as I've been told A, B, C, D, and I've been given this promise, I am not going to do that. I am going to change my perception. Because the mother referred the boy, but the mother didn't tell me anything about it. So that is my greatest achievement, a lot. I mean, I take a lot of credit to that. And the most important is just to leave a mark into the life of someone. Maybe even here, we'll end up leaving a mark. I mean, that will be my greatest achievement for this year. Yes, maybe another question.
Thank you, George. So my question is, what are the realities of growing up in high-risk settings and the challenges faced by youngsters?
Realities of growing up. I think at times when we grow up, a lot of people really don't accept where they come from. As I've said, if you don't accept who you are, you will never ever be in a position to become what you want to be in life. Two, it denies us a lot of opportunities around. Nowadays, the world is made up of the digital devices and everything. It's easier to connect. But by the time we were growing up, having a phone was a problem. I remember when I was in secondary school, my first year in secondary school, I would see some wealthy children coming to school with mobile phone. And the first time I saw a mobile phone, I was shocked. I was like, is this a toy or what is this? They ended up laughing at me, everyone. And I was like, okay, it's fine, because I'm asking because I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know what is a phone. So at times it denies us a lot of opportunities because we are not familiar with the world and where the world is going. Yeah, I think that is it. Challenges are enormous. I mean, the realities of growing up in a situation where you cannot afford a meal in a day. It's very, very hard. There are some of you who can say, I mean, you can afford a meal, both the 3-course meal. For me, affording a 1-course meal was a problem. And it has really affected me a lot until recently. I usually don't take breakfast in the morning. I've really had the hardest time taking breakfast in the morning because I grew up knowing breakfast is not a must. So you realize how that is connected with all this. And then access to education, resources, uniform was also a big problem. So you just have to limit yourself within what you are able to afford. Yes, maybe another question.
Thank you, George. So my question is, what do you dream for a child from Nairobi in 10 years?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, sorry. My question is, what do you dream for a child from Nairobi in 10 years?
Wow. My dream for a child in Nairobi for the next 10 years, I think I can say I would really love to see a better world. I mean, being able to access, growing up in a world that there's no poverty, growing up in a world they do not encounter abuses, they have adequate resources, equal resources, like that child who comes from New York, a child who comes from London. I mean, we are able to have equitable resources and growing up together, whereby we are able to, the most important thing is with the minimum basics, and the minimum basics are the SDGs. If every child is able to access the Sustainable Development Goals as a basic, the rest will be top up. So my dream would be in the next 10 years, I hope to see children growing up in Ghorogocho being able to enjoy the Sustainable Development Goals as a bare minimum. Yes.
Thank you, George.
Another question?
Why, in your opinion, should teens be socially aware?
Wow. Teens should be socially aware because one thing that I understand is that during childhood and teenagehood, this is a stage whereby young people get to learn. If I just ask randomly, when you went to school when you were young, during those days, I don't know if it's preschool or there is one thing that you still remember that your teacher told you when you were young and it has never ever gone out of your mind. Do you have something that we can remember? I think we have something that we can remember when we were growing up as those, when your mother was taking you to school or whatever, but you still have something that you can remember. It is the same way with the teenagers, of knowing how things are right now. It will be very, very difficult for you to adjust these realities at some point in life. And by the time you get to adjust to them, it will be too late for you. For example, what life is now. There is none who will tell you what life is when you are 20. If you don't get to understand the perception about life now, there's no one who will tell you. If you don't understand what are the harms of drugs now, no one will tell you when you are 18, because you'll say, I'm a grown-up person, so you guys leave me alone. I have my own life to live. But you will live your life, but it will be a short-lived life. Yes. Okay, another question.
Okay, we have one last question. George, you've been a huge inspiration, and your story that you have mentioned to us is truly awe-inspiring. And so my question for you is, now that you've met the SOI team, can you give us your thoughts and ideas about the way forward for us as a team?
Way forward. Oh, okay. I am. Good. So as a way forward as a team, I will demonstrate with my hands. I don't know if you, yes, I'll demonstrate with my hands. One, I will want you to understand that all the fingers are not equal in size. And each and every finger is important. If you lose this now, there's a gap. There will be a gap. If you lose this, there will be a gap. Ask someone who doesn't have all the 5. They will tell you how they really missed that small component or small unit of their hand. So what do I mean by this? We are never equal, and we need each other to be able to achieve what we want to achieve in life. And let us not be people who joyride. As much as we are in this project or this in this group, we have to support each other. In Africa or in Kenya, we have a saying that says, "Bega kwa bega." Bega means the shoulder. So I have to lean on your shoulder. You have to lean on my shoulder so that we are able to move together. But if we separate ourselves in different ways, we will not be able to achieve a lot. And we need each other. In this world, we need each other because resources are available with people. Jobs are available with people. Jobs are never on internet or on newspaper or television. Jobs are with people. So we need each other to be able to achieve anything that we want in life. Opportunities comes to those who are prepared and who have created it to come. And for you to achieve those things that you want to achieve, you need to you don't need to have gaps in between. You need to be together. And then when you are together, you'll be able to achieve much, much, much more as a team. Yes. Another question?
So that was the last set of questions from us. So now we open the platform for questions from those participating. You can use the raise hand option and the team will unmute you. Or you can also type your questions in the chat box, which we can read out and George can answer.
I saw someone by the name CC actually raised their hand. I don't know if he's still there. I just saw it when I was making the presentation.
By the time questions come in, George, I have a question. How do you practically give hope?
Yes.
How do you practically give hope to children on the streets?
I think based on my story, at times, because I have the experience of how to connect with them, what happens is that we connect with them. Then once I'm able to connect with them, it becomes easier now for me to give them an inspiration. You give them an inspiration by telling them that at some point I was here and I've been able to make it out of here. At times you just ask them, how are you? You break the barrier, then you start interacting. How are you? How is life? So what do you want to do? Do you want to stay here for how long? And then slowly by slowly, you introduce your story and tell them that this is me when I was here and this is me now. So I'm eagerly waiting to see how I can hold your hand and walk with you. At times it's very difficult because there are others who come with big expectations that you are not able to achieve, but you just help put them in a realistic world whereby they understand that this is what is there and how they need to move on with life. which at times, again, it's very difficult because most of them don't accept the reality that they are in the street and they want to move from the street. Another question?
I have a question. So, have you ever come across any child that you spoke to, but the child, he or she was still not able to, because he or she has gone through so much in life that they're just not able to have the hope? How would you help that child, even after you said your side of the story and the child still seems to be struggling?
Okay. So I don't know if I got you right. How will I help a child that have gone through a lot and they want to move from the street, but they do not have enough resources to move from the street? Is that right?
Like in the sense that
I think
they're not like they've lost hope, that even when they get the chance, they're not willing to grab it because they feel disappointed. They're worried that they won't succeed. So they leave, they just accept and they just try to move on life they already have when there are so many more opportunities waiting for them.
Okay. One thing that I believe in is that every human being has a spiritual being. There are people who believe in this, and every other child has also that belief. There is something that they believe in. So I normally tell that according to me, I believe in God. And God is the only person who can bring the broken pieces together. So whatever you believe in, just take your time and pray. Ask God for intervention. But as much as we will be doing this, I will also be trying to reach out to my networks and see how else can this child be supported. Because at times, hope can be restored by not by talking, but by being action-oriented. And action-oriented means what? You are able to engage in a way that you offer. I mean, it's just about bringing smile into someone's. You cannot talk to me and give me a smile, and you expect me to smile when I am in trouble or angry. I mean, I have nothing in my stomach. But if you tell me that, George, don't lose hope, this is it, and you offer me a plate of food, the smile will automatically come out without being. So hope, it is the same way with hope. You cannot restore hope by just using words and words alone. You walk the journey together. I know you've lost hope with life, but don't give up. I have a friend who can help you do this. I know when you're still going over there, you still don't have hope, but we will try. So the moment they get to that place, you also try and find out who else can do what. Then you keep and hope will definitely and automatically be restored. Yes. Another question?
Thank you, George. Namindi, you have raised your hand. Would you like to ask a question?
Yes, please. Hi, George. It's nice to meet you, and I love your story. And I have a question for you. How did you regain your strength and your hope when you lost hope?
Maybe I lost you. I lost you. Someone can reread the question again, because I lost Nemidi. How can I? That was the end.
Can you hear me, George?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. They asked, how did you regain your hope and your strength, even though you went through so much? How did you regain your hope and your strength?
Okay, regaining hope. Being brought up in a family that believe or has Christian values are some of the things that kept me moving. Because regaining strength by ourselves, it's very difficult to have it. But also an inspiration by by people who have done great things in the society. They keep on inspiring us. Where I am, I said at some point that I was inspired by Mother Teresa of Calcutta. It's my dream that one day Diana will take me to Calcutta slums in India. So we have one of the orphanages around here that Mother Teresa used to run. It's called Missionary Charity. So at times, as much as I lose hope and you look at what people like Mother Teresa have been able to do, you feel like, I think I can also try this. So being positive with right people around you, being determined, being religious oriented, and then having people believe in you and keep on telling you, keep on moving, keep on moving. Allow me to use the example of a deaf frog. There was a competition of deaf frogs, and there were 100 frogs that were lined up that were competing. Out of the 100 frogs, there was one that was deaf, and the deaf one did not hear, was not able to hear whatever people were saying. So the frog started jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. At some point, 50 of them dropped and they were left 50. They kept on jumping. Others felt tired, others felt disappointed in one way or the other. They went 50, then 25, then 10, then 5. So the 5 felt like, I'm tired. As much as I'm running, there is nothing I'm going to gain out of this because it is just a rubbish, it's a nonsense thing to do. Then the deaf one kept on jumping, and people are like mocking the frog and shouting. And so the moment he was done, he was asked, what was it that kept you moving? And the frog said that I was inspired by the people who were spectating at me or was supporting me. In real sense, these people are not supporting him. These people are kind of mocking him, telling him, just calm down, just drop. So this is the whole thing. In life, if you want to make it, don't attach yourself to people who will discourage you and bring you down. Keep working with people who will encourage you to keep on moving. As much as you make the mistake or whatever you don't feel like it's right, they'll tell you this is it and keep on moving. I think that is right. As young people, you need to know that, because there are people who will discourage you, there are people who will mock you, there are people who will bring you down. It's the same way. The community that I'm working with, they've abused me, they've robbed me, I've been beaten, but I don't take that in my heart. I say, I'm here to help and I'll keep on helping. I am the deaf frog. They say a lot of words, but they don't get into my ear. If they get into my ear, they enter this ear, then they live with this other ear, because that is the only way that will give you strength to keep on working. Yes. Maybe another question?
Yes, I have a question. So there are like 17 SDGs, and like some of them are about hunger and gender equality and electricity in communities. So according to you, which of the SDGs should come into effect first?
Which one comes first?
No, which one should come into effect first? Like according to which is the most important one?
Which should be given priority, which should be seen to have been achieved first, George. He's looking at his SDG list. Haha.
I'm looking at them here because I don't have them. I don't have them in my head. If given chance, I think I would give priority to SDG number 4, education. And why education? We cannot eradicate poverty if we are not empowered. We cannot talk about ending hunger if we are not empowered. We cannot talk about good healthcare and have good doctors if these doctors are never given quality education. We cannot talk about gender equality if there is no empowerment or these people are able to, you cannot talk about your rights if you don't know those rights. Someone has to teach you about your rights so that you're able to advocate for them. And you cannot talk about clean water and the rest if you do not have access to good education. Education does not matter, be it that you are under a tree, under a building, under a car, it does not matter. The most important thing is what enters in between your 2 ears. If you're able to stick and put it in the right place and utilize it well, you will be able to move mountains. That is the most important. Yes.
Thank you so much, George. If there are no more questions, I think we can move on.
There's someone who has.
Does anybody have any more questions?
I don't know. I'm not able to read.
That's a whole lot of praise for you, for all your stories and comparisons. Do you want me to read one? Do you want me to read one?
No problem. It's fine.
Somebody, a friend of ours is saying, Swati is her name. I'm so glad to have been part of this session, George. You were remarkable. You mentioned during your conversation that young adults need to accept who or what they are, and only then can they achieve their dreams and aspirations. As a mother, I seem to be trying to put this point across, and you did it with such ease. Kudos to the young, vibrant panelists for organizing this remarkable session. So, a lot of praise for you. Somebody also commented about that hand comparison that you made. So, I loved your frog story.
Thank you very much. Diana, you are a hero. If you can bring all these young people together, you are a superstar. I think I should give you a lot of credit. People should not give me credit.
No, it's just these kids. The energy that they bring is so beautiful. We just can't help but bring them together. It's beautiful. Someday, I hope, George, we can actually all meet, and I'll be able to bring all of them to Nairobi to see the truth of how young children there and their realities are. I'm hoping someday a small bunch of kids from Nairobi can visit them, and there'll be some kind of an exchange of lives and stories and experiences. So the world is a beautiful place. So I'm hoping someday we can do all that.
I think that would be one of my, no problem. I think that is nice. Sorry, I'm trying to communicate. Okay, sir. So I think that will be one of my greatest achievements, because I think through that I'll be able to get an opportunity to see where Mother Teresa was born, getting an opportunity to come to, in India you say Calcutta, but for us, we pronounce it as Calcutta. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Someday, yes, if God wills, you will walk the streets of Calcutta, and hopefully we'll be the reason for it. Hopefully. I hope these kids can take you out.
I think I'll just say it I'll just sum it up by saying there is nothing that is too big for any human being to achieve. No matter how big it is, we have the potential within us, because whatever we are looking for is looking for us, and it just revolves around us. Provided you are strategically positioned and ready for the opportunities that are around you, you'll be able to tap all of them, and people will start feeling jealous and asking themselves, why not me? So that is my parting shot. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Manya, you can close.
Thank you, George. Mika?
Okay, thank you, George. So before we conclude this evening's conversation, I would like to bring your attention to the link posted in the chat box. kindly click on the link and fill out a very simple Google form with your details so that we can update you on the next webinar and the events that 𝗬𝗺 will conduct in bringing up young people together.
These thematic webinars will be an open platform for any teenager to engage in discussions with international experts from the social development sector. Individuals can register and participate in any webinar of their choice. A participation certificate will be awarded to all the participants. The link to filling out a form has been posted in the chat. Please do fill in the necessary details.
You guys can also sign up for the one-year program and be active participants in all thematic webinars and contribute to building the 𝗬𝗺 program. These engagers will support the core team in organizing the thematic webinars. Being an engager will also pave the way for becoming a part of the 𝗬𝗺 core team. A course completion certificate will be awarded at the completion of 1 year. You can apply to be an engager in the link posted in the chat now. The eligibility criteria for becoming an engager are being of 13 to 21 years of age and being willing to commit 4 hours of your time every month.
Now we take the opportunity to thank George for his presence here. We thank you for speaking to us on such a sensitive topic and sharing your experience, ideas, and views with us. We are so glad to have you with us today. Thank you for taking the time to be here.
We would also like to thank the 𝗬𝗺 Foundation and 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝗹𝗺𝗀 for providing us the opportunity to have a platform where we can freely and honestly express our views and learn from the experts across the globe. We would like to thank the team at 𝗬𝗺 Foundation of Shalini, Amala, and Darshan for orienting us. We look forward to your continued support.
And last but not the least, I thank our contemporaries, the young people present here today. Thanks for making this a success with your presence. We sincerely hope you find value in this engagement as much as we have found. Hope to catch up with all of you for the next webinar. Until then, stay safe. Good night. Bye.
Thank you, George. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. We'll catch up later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love to your family, to your kids. It's nice to see them in the picture.
Audience, it'll be great if you could fill out the forms before you leave. It'll be truly appreciated. Thank you.
Should we leave and rejoin?
Yeah, I've sent the link. Someone will share it with your message. Thank you, people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
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 The important person leaves just like, yep, bye. See ya.
Hi.
Wow.
Have a nice evening.
Athena and then eventually left. Peter left.